turning around here. Okay, so we're back on the Pied Piper. This part's where it gets fun. So the council is meeting, and now they hear the knock at the door of the Pied Piper. He's going to come in there. He's going to offer his services. And I want you to imagine while you're watching this and listening to this, imagine the Pied Piper is the Illuminati. Just think about it for a second, and then imagine what they would be saying about this. We're going to learn some history as well. Here you go.
Come in,
the mayor cried, looking bigger. And in did come the strangest figure.
And I want to take a note right here because, again, it's symbolism. Not symbolism. I guess that's really the wrong word. It's repetition of the same images, the same thoughts that we see over and over again. These boots look like the Puss in Boots boots. And they were from the same era, the same time period, so it makes sense. And then he's got this long robe. It's in fiery colors of orange and red. And so he comes in, he looks kind of intimidating in a way, but they're not really sure what he's got to say. Oh my gosh, I'm rhyming now. I've been watching too much of this. Here we go.
His queer long coat,
We got Robin Hood there.
from heel to head, was half of yellow and half of red. And he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, light loose hair, yet pasty skin, no tuft on cheek nor beard on chin, but lips where smiles went out and in. There was no guessing his kith and kin, and nobody could enough admire the tall man and his quaint attire. Quoth one,
it's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone. Who let you in, sir? Go away. We're giving no free meals today. You've interrupted a serious matter.
perhaps I have. Yet I flatter myself that I could fix.
We want none of your cheap theatrics. We've no time for strolling players.
How's Hamlin fixed for rodent slayers?
Oh, no, not another necromancer. We're giving none a second chance, sir. State your business and depart. We've lost our faith in your so-called art.
Please, your honours, pardon me. I'm able, by means of a secret charm, to draw all creatures living beneath the sun that creep, or swim, or fly, or run after me, so as you never saw.
Oh, what did he say?
And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm.
So they come out and, this is the thing about these kind of people. They're charming and they come out and they have magical words to say. And then, he says things like, I only take care of the critters that do people harm. That's what he says.
The mole, the newt, and the toad, and the viper. And people call me the Pied Piper. And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of the selfsame check. And at the scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers, they noticed, were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture, so old-fangled. Yet, say I, poor piper as I am, in Tartary I freed the Khan last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats.
And I love that because, of course, we all know the coronavirus was originally claimed on a bat. Just funny. Anyway, he says Tartary. This is your history lesson, my history lesson. Tartary is a vast country in northern parts of Asia, bounded by Siberia on the north and the west. This is called Great Tartary. The Tartars who lie south of Muscovy and Siberia are those of Astrakhan. I don't know how to say those words. I'm not going to try. Situated northwest on the Caspian Sea. So anyway, let's go down here. I found this to be interesting. Right here. So it talks about this. To add some credibility or to take some away from the story, below you can find an excerpt from the CIA document classified in 1988, which was created in 1957. And it says, okay, let us take the matter of history, which, along with religion, language, and literature, constitute the core of the people's cultural heritage. Here again, the communists have interfered in a shameless manner. For example, on 9 August 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party, sitting in Moscow, issued a directive ordering the party's Tartar Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes, nationalistic character. I'm human today, and I'm showing my human side. Committed by an individual, writers and historians in dealing with Tartar history. In other words, Tartar history was to be good Lord, rewritten. Let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to the Great Russian aggressions and to hide the facts of the real course of Tartar-Russian relations. And this is no isolated case. In every Muslim area within the USSR, historians on orders of the Communist Party have written history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in good light. How do we do that? See, here's where we're doing that today, right? Like this was in our time, and they're rewriting history because they want to appear always in good light. That's what empires do. That's what the Egyptians did, the pharaohs did, the Romans did, Christians did, the Germany did, the wall. I mean, all of these things, right? And so anyway, I thought it was interesting that those are the two references in the book, that he helped Khan get rid of gnats. And here you can kind of see these images that look very much like the Pied Piper, from this time period. Anyway, I find this kind of stuff interesting. So, there was that. And then he goes in, I don't think we've come to it yet. So now we're going to talk about fame here in a second. So hang on, we'll watch this a minute longer.
Easy enough for you to say. Those places are far enough away. How do we know your tales are true, that we should place our faith in you?
Your reservation's not unjust, and I'll respond to earn your trust. These rats, I say, are come from Satan, and if their exit you would hasten, I urge you heed my brief oration.
And notice that he immediately puts the fact that these vermin are of Satan. That's because as humans, anything that we consider to be bad, we label it satanic, when in reality, it's just a rat being a rat. It's just a human being being a human being. But somehow we keep adding these magical elements to something that just because it's evil, that means it must be demonic. And if that's the case, then I've known a lot of demonic people and a lot of demons. And I just can't buy that because I don't think that these people are possessed by the devil. I just think they're assholes. But, whatever. Anyway, he goes on.
I've done business with the best. North, or south, or east, or west.
And remember, we're looking at him as if he is the Illuminati, the Freemason, the Zionist movement, right? And he says, I've done this from east to west to north to south because they overrun our globe. They're everywhere, right? Every country and every part of the globe has their influence in it.
My powers have yet to fail a test. and my references are on request. Say your city's plagued with frogs, I'll have them disappear in bogs. Or if your township's cursed with lice, I'll pack 'em off to paradise. Piping's my game. Extinction's my goal.
Again, New World Order. Extinction's my goal and piping's my game.
Wide is my fame. Famed is my role.
Wide is my fame, fame is my role. And so I looked this up. What does it mean to be famous? I found this answer at Quora. I like Quora. This is David Jones. He studies at philosophers. He says this right here. There is an account in a well-known work by a philosopher which includes an analysis of principal types of motivation. There is the seeking the good, true, and beautiful, the desire for fame, and the acquisition of worldly goods. These three types of motivation are illustrated through the work of the philosopher, the soldier, and the farmer/trader. They are also relate to three aspects of nature of human beings. Of course, that's what I study. The motivation of a soldier is also well illustrated in the Iliad by Homer, in which the characters portray that the way that someone is remembered and talked about after having died is prepared for through heroic deeds, as if this community memory of them would be the real afterlife. And I thought of Kobe Bryant, right? And our Kobe Bryant memorializing some guy who really, maybe he was a good guy. I don't know, but it seems like he wants to forget that he had this other side to him. And so he wants to be remembered. I don't know. Like, is this why he suicided out, or maybe he didn't? I don't know what the deal is, but nonetheless, the philosophy of being famous makes me think of that, after the way that someone is remembered and talked about after having died is prepared for through heroic deeds, as if this community memory of them would be the real afterlife. Kobe Bryant. This concern about what others think and feel about us is much in evidence in the modern world. There is an extent to which judgments and choices are decided on consideration of securing the approval of the group of people that the one judging wishes to be accepted and approved by. One way to secure the approval of others is to be helpful to the members of the group. Unfortunately, there is also another way, which is to speak or act aggressively against other groups. This is inevitably during a period of war, and many people have experienced a feeling of community greater than in peacetime, though experiencing the common purpose against the enemy, and consequently the heroes are justly honored. I love that. This type of community building does also develop in peacetime by the formation of communities of common hatred, which then replicate the war conditions within the social fabric of the community. We're seeing that today. Apparently, we are in peace times, and yet it doesn't feel like that when I watch the news, because I'm constantly seeing confrontations between this group and that group, and this society and that society. And, everybody just stop. Like, it's okay for you to have your opinions and be a dick if you want to, but you don't need to make everyone else have the same as you. It's okay that they're different. Leave them alone. Anyway, the democratic process that is necessarily adversarial can easily tip over into community of hatred, which is what the United States has become. And it's interesting because as I'm reading this, I'm having images of the things, the wildfires in Australia. I mean, all of the stuff that I've seen about that community is basically in a time of war, and they're coming together. They've dropped the hatred right now because who gives a fuck? We want water and food. or we want, we don't want flooding. I mean, the communities come together. And on the other hand, the feeling of being appreciated within the community can also achieve in positive ways, such as community of common appreciation, such as a group of people who admire a particular artist or sports person. Exactly. The Pied Piper.
My offer's one you can't refuse, unless you see how you could lose. So, I propose a simple pact. To solve your problem, for a fact, say yes. And I'll proceed at once. You should be free of rats by lunch.
And if by chance you keep your word, say you, what shall be your reward?
As for what your brain bewilders, if I can rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?
50,000!
Was the exclamation of the astonished mayor and corporation. 50,000's not my fee. 1,000 guilders.
So he's saying, I only want 1,000 guilders. I only want what I need. I don't need 50. They're willing to pay a whole lot more because they're desperate. It's what fear and desperation does to you. But he's being fair in this story. And he's saying, so whatever the history of it, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fairy tale, okay? And so the images, the metaphors that are behind this, he's saying I don't need all that, right? Just give me what I need.
It's me. Now, have we a bargain made?
Oh, and they're so quick, right? Of course we do. $1,000. Oh my God, this is such a good deal.
Then 'tis time for me to ply my trade.
And this is what I see human beings doing. They take the easy way out. They take, the trickery and the lies, and they're all excited about it. It's like we watch the halftime show at the Super Bowl, and we buy our cereals and our consume and our brand new this and our new that, and these people laugh with their fur coats. What a joke.
If only one could well believe there was aught he could achieve.
No harm, I ween, to let him try.
But if he fails, I know I'll cry.
Into the street, the piper stepped. Smiling first, a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. And then, like a musical adept, to blow the pipe his lips he winkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered,
Hey, is he piping?
I'm a little rat. popping through. So he plays these 3 notes. He gets all the rats' attention, and then they follow him. And I believe in vibrations. I believe ultimately that is what we all are. And I think of 5G, like he's a 5G. I'll get rid of your rats. We're the rats. He's going to play his 5G flute. Oh my.
You heard as if an army muttered, and the murmuring grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses the rats came tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, grey rats, tawny rats, brave old plodders, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and prickling whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, flocked to the piper for their lives.
Oh my gosh. Again. We're looking to things and we're looking to people. We are these rats. We're just flocking to fame and celebrity. Like, we have no control. You know, it's just so sad. We're consumers. And we're just like these rats. We're consuming everything and we're leaving places destitute. And because of that, the Illuminati, Freemason, Zionist, Pied Piper is going to come and he's going to lure us all. Lesson of the day, right?
From every which way, rats came streaming. So many rats, it looked like dreaming. From street to street, he piped, advancing. Step for step, they followed, dancing. Dancing, prancing, preening, glancing, filled with visions most entrancing. Woven by the piper's spell, they followed the music most enhancing. Tumbling in pursuit pell-mell. Until they came to the river Weser. Wherein all plunged.
They're under the pipe spell. And they're plunging into the river, similar to how sheep would do. Follow each other down to off the cliff. We'll pick up where this one leads off. He gets the rats. He rids the town of rats. And I just find that this story is a little bit telling, you know? And every one of these stories can be put on situations that are going on around us, which is why these fairy tales and folklores transcend time. And so we keep telling them over and over again in our movies and in our TV shows, and we just change the location, change the characters, change the rats to sheep, and the sheep to pigs, and the pigs to people. It's all the same thing. Found it interesting though that it was talking about Tartary and all that. So there you go. Philosophy. Want to be famous, like Kobe Bryant. Everyone remembers me. Not really.